All right, so this time we're going to work on the shades side of our value scale. And a shade is made by adding small dots of black to the color. So I'm still going to use this magenta color. So I'm going to start with that over here. And I'm going to wash my brush out. And this time I'm going to take the white off my plate because I don't need it anymore. And I am going to start with the color. And answering a teacher right quick. Sorry, guys. All right. Then I am going to put a little bit of black out. So start with the color here. Last time, because I was trying to make lighter values, I started with white and added the color to it. This time I'm going to start with the color, which is that magenta, and I'm going to add little bits of black to that magenta. So, and when I say little bits of black, I mean microscopic, tiny amounts of black, because black is a very strong color, and if you let it, it will overpower your painting or your paints very, very quickly. So, by little bit, I mean little bit. Look at this. Okay, it's like, you know, peas, the vegetables, peas, it's like half of a pea, okay? And I'm just going to mix that with some of my color here. Now, it may not look like it on your palette, but it did change, and that is slightly darker than the one before it. Just from that like half of a pea size amount of black, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm not going to wash my brush this time because this is just a practice thing. So there's like half a pea again on my brush. I'm just going to mix that into that same spot. I might catch a little extra of that magenta color, but that's okay. So I'm going to test it. I'm going to say, okay, does it look darker than the one before, or does it look about the same? So if it looks about the same, go back in with just a tiny bit more black, and then mix that in, and then test it again. So that looks better this time. So I'm going to paint in my space. So the reason we're doing this is just to kind of get used to how much of which color you really need to change the value, okay, of lightness or darkness. So now you can't, I mean, you could mix all three together, but then you're going to get like a grayish something, and that's not what you want to do, especially when you're doing value scales. You want your colors to stay pretty pure, except with what you're tinting or shading it with. So there's that one. Still the same, so I'm going to go add a little bit more to my spot. I just need to be able to see a difference, you know what I mean? And if you don't see a difference, then you just got to keep going, add a little more. So there we go. Now that I'm getting like closer to the bottom half, you know, I can add a little bit more black, but you just don't want to use too much too quickly, especially like if I added all that black up here, well, what am I going to do down here, you know? So that's why we do just a little bit at a time. Trying to make sure it looks like a change on the camera too. So let's see, is that, yeah, that looks better. That works. And then I'm going to go with a bit more this time that's not showing you what I really am doing. Let me clean this off. There we go. So this time I'm going to go with a bit more, kind of like that. And I'm just going to mix it in there. So I'm starting to run out of paint, so I'm just going to put some in there, put some of this in there. Hopefully it'll mix up to be the same color. So fingers crossed. Let's see. It matches this one, so I'm going to put a little more black in. Let's try that. That's better. Now on screen, this is probably going to look black to you, but here in front of me, it looks like a warm, dark magenta. It looks like almost like blackberries, how blackberries have that little bit of color to it. So I don't know if you can see how much black I'm going this time. So I know that even if this one ends up looking black, I know that that color is in there. So it's not just straight black that I'm putting here. It's probably more black than anywhere else, but it still has a little of that color in it. So to me, those two match. So I'm going to go in with some more black here. Should be really dark. Yeah, there we go. Really dark this time. And that's how you do the shades, okay? So now from those three colors, black, white, and that magenta or blue or whatever it was you chose, we've got 14 different values, okay, of that one color, just by adding either white to it, or adding color to the white, or by adding tiny bits of black to the original color. So that's it. I hope this helps, guys, ladies.